Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Erik Johansson, a teacher with LSAT Demon. Joining me is Ben Olson, founder of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. Today, I've lumped together two emails that we got, both about creating a study schedule. First one's from Ishmael.
Ishmael says, "Hi, I'm retaking the LSAT in 2025. Okay, it's October of 2024. After scoring a 159 in August, I wasn't ready. I was racing against the clock. I've pushed back my applications and will be working in politics over the next year and a half." Okay,
Cool.
sounds good. "I've been smart drilling every day and I'm gunning for the mid to high 170s. I'd appreciate some advice on creating a weekly schedule for these next several months of studying. Please note that I have other responsibilities that I want to maintain: creative writing, animal shelter volunteering, and launching a small business." Okay, wow.
Yeah.
All that said, here are the two questions. Approximately how many times sections should I do per week? What's a good indicator for picking up full-length practice tests again?
You don't necessarily ever need to do full-length practice tests. I know of students who really have only done time sections. So there's no one indicator for when you should do full-length PTs, other than, does it seem like it would help your study? Which it might, but not to a huge extent above what you get from time sections. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I could see taking a full-length test once a month just to see what it's like to do sections back to back and make sure you're not ready for that experience.
Sure.
But yeah, if you're doing timed sections individually, I agree 100%. You could do 3 over the course of a week, merge them together, get a full practice test score.
How many time sections should Ishmael do per week?
So, Ishmael, I'm going to give you a general rule, and that is 3. And you can just alternate back and forth between drilling on one day and doing a time section on the next day. But the reality is we can't answer that question. You're doing creative writing, animal shelter volunteering, and launching a small business. It's very possible that you just only have time for 1 or 2. And the rest of the days you have to do drilling because you have to break up your study into 15-minute blocks. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's my...
Yeah.
You have a lot on your plate. I don't know. I don't want to necessarily discourage you from doing those things, because if those things lead to something else and you don't end up going to law school, I don't think that's a bad thing. But if you're serious about law school, you may need to cut back on some of these things, or not do one of them, or maybe not do all 3 of them, so that you can work and then do the LSAT for a good hour and not feel like you're compromising.
The most important thing about your schedule is that it's consistent. And by consistent, I mean really just doing something every day, 6 days of the week, maybe 5 days of the week.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to drop below 5 days of the week to be really consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be an hour most days, 30 minutes some days, 2 hours some days. And how you fill those hours should be some combination of time sections and drilling, but you don't need to over-engineer it.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
All right.
Follow-up question from Anonymous. Hi, LSAT Demon. I've been watching your podcast and signed up for the free version of LSAT Demon. Eventually, I will purchase the live course. What do you recommend as a good schedule to study between LR and RC? Should I do 2 days LR and then another 2 days for RC? Love the podcast. Keep up the great work.
So this kind of relates to the advice for Ishmael. If you do let's say 2 sections a week, that's 4 sections over the course of 2 weeks, right? You're going to, generally speaking, be doing more LR than RC, because there are more LR sections than RC sections, but not always. Some 4-section tests have 2 logical reasoning sections and 2 reading comprehension sections. So you're if you do time sections a week and do them from the same test over the course of 2 weeks, you're going to get a good balance. And then for the rest of your study, I would do demon's choice and let the demon decide what you should focus on, because it's going to take into account the fact that there are more LRs than there are RCs, but it's also going to take into account your skill level. So if you're doing particularly bad at reading comprehension, then you might end up doing about the same amount of reading comprehension as you would logical reasoning. But if you're doing pretty evenly well in both of them, then you're probably actually going to get more logical reasoning, because the demon knows there's more of that your score depends on.
Totally. Yeah, I hadn't even, I'm a bad LSAT demon team member. I completely forgot about Demon's Choice as something that we could recommend. I think that's great. Thank you, Ishmael and Anonymous, for writing in. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.